What's up, Rockstars, and welcome to an exciting unboxing, because today I'm unboxing these. Thank you to my channel sponsor Into the AM. As a company that believes hard work and a great product is a proper way to conduct business, I am delighted to have them as part of the channel. They have some of the coolest graphic t-shirts around and an absolute best fit and feel that has continually exceeded my expectations. With new shirts arriving all the time and other products like boxers, hats, and even a monthly shirt club, I wholeheartedly recommend them to you. Check out the link in my description of this video for an exclusive 10% off everything they sell. Now, as always, a huge shout out to my patrons and YouTube members. It is through their financial report that this channel is possible. Guys, it is because of them that I am able to follow my passions, which is why I've been talking about Celestial for 3 years now. It is because of them. So thank you so much for the support that they bring, the independence that they bring, and being the cornerstone of this channel. If you'd like to join them, there is a link down below. Thank you so much. Now, with that out of the way, we're going to actually unbox it, but I figured these are just trays of minis, so let's unbox them here instead of like at a table and all that other stuff. So if you didn't know, and I've ordered the stuff for the overhead unboxing, so that should be coming here soon, but it's not here yet, so I don't want to deal with moving stuff around quite yet. It's a little bit more work than I would like. Same with the lighting here. This stuff isn't like on Amazon for like Prime shipping, so it doesn't just like come here and like overnight. This is exciting though, because while this is just minis, they wanted to actually send the entire Act 1. However, with the Chinese New Year, sorry, I know it's loud, my goodness. With the Chinese New Year, they just wanted to send what they could real quick. So that's just some minis. So, like, I just want to be able to keep this out. There we go. Yeah, as you can see, looking cool. I'll build these, by the way, so don't worry about that. They did send some digital stuff that I can read, which will allow me to actually, I believe, play with these. Which means I get some hands-on experience with it in time for some other big-name Kickstarters, meaning that eventually I can start doing a versus video for you guys so that you guys can know what it is you want to spend your money on, your hard-earned money that's well-deserved to be spent appropriately. So, like, just let me in already. Good grief. Oh, this is like a whole bunch of tiny ones here. Oh, I think I see Nua. I love Nua. I'm glad I get to paint her again, actually, because I feel like I didn't do that great of a job. I do have a painting down below to that. I'm actually coming out with another painting for another Celestial mini, Zurong. That'll be coming soon to the channel. Thanks to the fundraiser. Thank you so much for that, by the way. Really excited to share another painting video with you guys. That's pretty exciting. But, no, the versus videos are nice. If you don't know, if you haven't seen my versus videos before, I did one for a lot of dungeon, like narrative dungeon crawl, boss battler kind of stuff before. Or just, whatever you guys tend to ask. And what it is it's not like a versus, like a cage match, like a, only one winner will survive. No, I mean, games are right for different people, right? So it's like, well, if you really like humor, you're gonna love Storm Sunder. But if you want like dead serious stuff, well, you probably want Oathsworn and not Storm Sunder. That's nothing wrong against Storm Sunder or Oathsworn. It just, your preference matters. So I kind of do stuff like that. I tell you guys what you might be interested in. This is interesting. I don't know what a lot of this stuff is. A lot of this almost seems like terrain. That is interesting. So like I said, I'm gonna take these out real quick. But then I'm going to get started on building, and then we're going to take a look at the built minis. And I can talk about how easy it was to build, how well they fit together, stuff like that. And I have built everything from like really like Hodunk garage kits to printed minis, to Warhammer stuff, old, new. I have some limited experience with like, gosh, it's loud, old pewter minis from Warhammer. I had a few orcs that were, when I was a teenager, that were made of metal. Before all that fancy plastic stuff. There were a few plastic things. but I felt they generally weren't actually that great of quality at the time. Okay, so as you can see here, though, I mean, this is looking super, super cool. There is a lot of Hips plastic here, and this actually looks really, really nice. They are using the same manufacturer as Limbo: Eternal War, so that should give you some insight there. Also, Dragori Games and Dimension Games has used them for a long time. I think they used them even for like Dawn of Madness and Deep Madness as well. So a lot, probably Twisted Fables in 2, I would imagine. So quite good manufacturer when it comes to detail and quality, and I'm excited to see all this. So I'm gonna get started on building, and we'll do the top down with the built miniatures here right now. All right, starting things out, we have Nuwa here, and this is her fully built in the Hips. There's a few points I want to bring out, and that's mainly because I actually have the resin version of her. She's painted, so you're gonna have to forgive that, but we'll do some comparisons. For now, I'm not going to look at that, though. I'm just going to look at the model itself and comment about the build process. So first of all, the build went fantastic with her. Everything just fit super nice, super clean. You're not going to really see too many seams or anything like that. All the pieces went really well together. There was a little bit of one, as you can see right here, but honestly, that is pretty negligible, and everything else was covered up. This piece right here covered up a nice gap there. It cleaned up really well. The pieces are really nice. There is a little bit of some soft texture here. And note that none of this is finalized either, of course, right? And this is an early view on it. So there's plenty of time to kind of give feedback on the sculpt. So I'd say there's a few parts right here, right, where it gets really soft. You kind of see she gets really smooth here. A little smooth right there. And then on the side here, again, there's a little bit too. And I think there's actually a bit of a seam here. And often where there's a seam, you get a little bit of, the detail doesn't quite show up super well. But as you can see, other places like here, it looks great. And really everywhere else, right? I mean, it's just kind of those little places, a little bit on the side there. And then, of course, the DNA is filled in, which I think is fine. I would like to see the ridges slightly raised more. Like you see, there's a nice one right there, a pretty decent one right here, but then there it just kind of goes like there's just not a little bit more pronunciation there. I think it's fine. I'm fine with it being filled in, and I get why it is, but a little bit more would definitely be nice. Otherwise, again, like having the technological part right here makes this line work really well, which I thought was quite smart. She still has that great facial expression that I love so much, the kind of slightly worried look that she has. Really, really well done there. I mean, again, just everything else about it I think is really, really well done. The technology inside of the hair shows up quite nice. And yeah, as you can see, a pretty big model too. Now, if you compare that to the resin one I have here, and again, I apologize about the painting, whether you like it or not. One thing you will notice is that it has broken. So this resin is clear here, as you can see. It actually has the DNA strands without it filled in, but it's incredibly fragile. And this little bit right here broke. I don't even know when. Someday it did. And you can see the detail in like the hair, right? A little bit more detail, right, where that was. But otherwise, there's not a huge difference between these two. There really isn't. I think they did a great job with doing this. I think it turned out quite well. The claws on the fingers, the scales look good still. Those look nice. There might be a little bit of a softening detail right here, right, compared to here, right? This is still really crisp, whereas this is a little flat. And again, there is that mold line right there, or I think this might actually be a seam. I may have, yeah, I think I built that. Again, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. But yeah, the little rattle tail at the end turned out good. The detail here turned out really good. I mean, all of it, again, really impressed. Very, very nice. This is the biggest difference, is that DNA. And I actually kind of support it because, especially with it not being resin, it won't break right there like it did on mine. Which is nice. I can probably, Milliput that up or something like that. But All right, I have one more that I'm going to compare, and that's this one. Kind of the third-party faction that we get here. What's cool about her is she's kind of like a mannequin robot lady in that I don't know how real she really is, because you can tell, obviously, that this is not a real leg. Right, same with this. This, by the way, fit in very nicely, nice and secure there. So that went really well. I love the robe and how this kind of folds and crumples on the bottom. Her fingers holding this little ball. Very, very cool. We'll see that in greater detail soon, actually. The little side kind of arm growth things are really cool. I like the layers here on her hair. Also very neat. The kind of stretched and like tapered cloth that then's held by this little kind of cinch here. Very cool. Love the flow that has between that. These little blades, again, very, very nice, actually. Quite skinny. Definitely some fragile parts, but, you know, it really helps. Like, you can see the little bit of white here where I was holding it and holding it when I was gluing these parts in. I was holding it there and I accidentally pressed on it. But because it's not resin, because it's hips, it might turn a little white, but it did not break. And I really appreciate that. And again, if it was painted, you wouldn't even see that white. So that's really nice to see. I think I got a little bit of glue there. A little glue fuzz. Anyway, very cool. One of the nice things about being able to build them is you can paint this before doing this. So you're not stuck with this where you have to like push in your brush there and hope for the best. Like you can paint behind and you can paint the parts separate as you see fit. So don't feel like you need to build them all right away. And if nothing else, paint just that section first and then build it. And then you can kind of paint the rest. But yeah, no, very cool model. Again, I have a little bit painted here. This is actually my wife that was just starting to paint this, but kind of shelved it as we were busy doing some stuff. So we only got a little bit of base coats here. So again, be forgiving, but you can kind of see the exact same. I mean, there's not really a big difference here when it comes to even how it was built or the build quality. I mean, if you can see something, you let me know. Perhaps that inner working of that machinery there isn't quite as crisp. Again, just perhaps. Either way, I mean, this is quite nice, right? I mean, this really, really well done. So yeah, and again, like you can see, like the hand there looks great in both. They really do. Really, really do. So yeah, impressed. Very much so. They pretty much got every single bit. A few bit of shallower detail. Like for instance, right here, she has this really deep groove here. Again, I know it's probably really white on the screen because she's primed white. But anyway, a very deep groove here. Whereas here, it's a little bit more shallow, perhaps. Just a little bit, not too much. But honestly, if you can see a big difference, good for you, but I certainly can't. So these, don't feel bad if you did not get the resin. You're going to have a great painting session with these, I think, especially again the size. Very nice 75mm Hero units there. All right, let's actually go to that little bit I told you about. For instance, she, I think, can spawn these. I haven't read all of the rules and character sheets and all that, but you'll see the similarity here, right? Both in well, this looks like a more alive arm, perhaps, but holding that little ball thing, and again, fantastic work on the fingers. Really, really nice. I really enjoy them. They were smart enough, like this is glued here, and this is probably my worst glue job. These were quite hard to glue. Tweezers, I didn't use tweezers, and I probably should have. But having the rings here help naturally separate that so it looks nice here, which is quite good. A whole bunch of layers. Just overall, again, I think it looks really, really nice. This is a little flat here, and I felt there's probably something that goes here, but heck if I know what it is. This is where I should probably bring this up. There are a few pieces here. I did not have any instructions, by the way. And so there are a few pieces here. I think most of this goes to this. But that looks pretty complete. But there are a few parts that I think weren't printed right. So there's like this piece here. which looks pretty cool, right? It's completely flat on the other side though, and I feel like it's probably like, I don't know where that would go that has this flat area like that, but either way, probably wrong. And again, they can definitely keep working on this, keep improving, and I'm sure they will. And I'm sure it'll come with instructions too. I was pretty proud with everything I figured out how to build on my own. But yeah, no, this looks really cool. It stands on its own. Some kind of like, I think a buff thing or a terrain thing, or I don't know. It's cool. I dig it. Let's look at some bugs, because these bugs are super cool. Let's look at this little guy here. Now these are more of your regular units, right? Your little troops, more or less. I didn't get any bases, but you can see it would connect with the base, I think, quite well, these two, and that would kind of stabilize it a little bit. And there's a little point here, but otherwise it's kind of off the ground like that, right? So it's got a little bit of a top, and I really appreciate that because all of this, as you can see, is sculpted, and so I'm glad you'll still kind of be able to see that a little bit. Love the little tiny wings. Those are fun. These straight things here are such a contrast to everything else about this. So it's actually quite organic, right? That I really appreciate that. Even like the metal parts here, right? The armor parts are still curved. And then you have these little, just stacks of something that are just neat. Very asymmetrical, as you can see. Nothing is, copy pasted from one side or the other or anything like that. A very cool little unit. I like this guy. This guy's probably the cutest, I would say. Which tells you, I guess, where we're going. Let's see. Let's look at this guy. He looks like a melee unit if I've ever seen one. So again, a few little flat spots here and here. And again, there is a little bit of a gap here. Like maybe something went there. Maybe it was this. Maybe this is flat because it goes on the base. Now that I'm just thinking about it, maybe it goes in like that perhaps or something. I don't know. Anyway, this is here. And maybe it's supposed to just be like that. But as you can see, again, the metal is still kind of formed to it. It has some like writing on here. So that was kind of cool. They both have these little side capsule things. I'm not sure exactly what those are for. Same with the little bubbles. But then these teeth are just hardcore. And again, a whole bunch of layers, super crisp detail, all around very, very cool. And again, these haphazard, asymmetrical big teeth, I think are really stand out there. Very cool little unit there. All right, let's go to a bigger guy and then we'll do some more units again. Let's go to this guy here. Now this guy is super, super cool. A great pose, by the way. So you can see he'd be flat here, but then this would maybe barely drag onto the floor, and then this is raised. But he's like turned that way with his arms still that way, like he was going to walk, but then his attention was diverted, kind of thing. And he paused like half foot down. Like, I really dig the pose, and I can't stress that enough. Just how interesting that is. I was just looking at Kingdom Death Monster, my core copy, just the other day, and I saw the lion and just how static it was. Hey, can you imagine if the lion was posed more like this? How much better that would be if it was just a little bit more natural, paused right in motion like this. I love it. I could see that exact moment where he's walking and then looks, and I really dig that. They continue to do the asymmetrical thing. Like, you see how this one, right, his little horn thing goes over here, and this one, it's like fatter over here and it's lower and it just curves up and it's shorter. Very cool to see the difference there. Same with like I don't even know if he has eyes, and if he does, where they necessarily are. Maybe these are all eyes. Heck if I know. The art, I'm sure, will tell me. Very muscular, but then it has a whole bunch of, notice on the top though, a whole bunch of wires and stuff like that, and then like this like big pack of something here, and then the tail and stuff. And I love the negative space. I love having the different pieces to allow that kind of stuff that you just can't get in any other kind of mini. Like, you could not PVC this really at all. It would be too small, too finicky to build. It wouldn't work. The hands would not be like this. They'd be clumped up, right? You get all that kind of stuff. Very, very, I love this. I love the little dangly part here. I think that looks great. The teeth inside there, with like the outer teeth here, just nasty, and it just looks great. Love it. One of my favorite pose wise, and I didn't think I'd like them so much, but when I finally built them, I love the look in the paws, with his paw, right? Very cool, but it doesn't stand on his own. All right, let's look at another bug. Let's look at this one. This one's a little bit different. And we'll look at another person, and then another bug, and then a gate, and then maybe one more bug. Anyway, this guy's way different. He almost looks like he's got like jet boosters, like, like he's just gonna, and maybe he does. Maybe he just shoots those off and just stabs people. And that's obviously his main goal here, is just to stab this into somebody's tushy. Just whoosh, and then game over, I guess, at that point. I don't know. Again, has these little things. I don't know necessarily what they are, but they're very common among all of them. And I think that's interesting. It's something I noticed when I'm building. One of the things, by the way, I did find out is looking at minis and building minis are so different. When you build minis, you really notice the little details, right? Because you're busy actually putting these things on. So you really realize just every little bit, I think, so much more. Love, by the way, how technological this one is. This one has barely any, besides underneath, right? Barely, and then of course the legs, actual like organic stuff coming out, except that, it's like growing out. So it's like still barely contained in there. And then this could be arguable. Like I almost want to feel like this, it's kind of a mix, half and half, right? But, yeah, this is just all with that point. And by the way, quite sharp indeed. And I love the chiseled look of this, by the way. I think it turned out really cool how it looks. Again, definitely not, symmetrical and like laser cut accurate or anything like that, which I think is neat. All right, now there's this lady here. One thing I found interesting is the size difference. As you can see, big and small. So these are very much like gods among these other people, because she's quite small. Now, I believe they came out with a 75 millimeter of her, so I don't know necessarily why she's so small here. I couldn't tell you. What I will say is that she is disgusting. All of these are like eyeballs in the art. Like it's just nothing but eyes. It's like the grossest thing ever, and I don't know necessarily what it symbolizes. Just like I don't know what her being. I got like this hair here. It's not going away. There we go. As you can see, she's like bound, but I mean, she's still quite free. Like she's got like 4 arms free. So I don't know what the binding is here, what it signifies, what it represents. I'm sure it does. And you can see there's wrappings on her other arms here. There is another part of her hand that I just never saw. It's not one of those missing pieces. So it may just be that it didn't get on this. Again, I'm sure they're still working on, the organization of all of that, but anyways, you would have a normal hand there, right? Normal, whatever. She has these 2 bells. This one has this kind of like, tongue stab thing. This one has this kind of eyeball, I believe, is what it is in the art stab thing. She does have a little bit of a base thing, and again, connected on her tippy toes, which is quite an interesting pose. And again, with one leg up and then the arms down there, and then she has like this flowing hair that's escaping out of this weird head thing, and then on the back she's got all these arms coming out, and there's like huge muscular ones too, right? Just a very, very unique mini. Again, have nothing else like this, and I don't know the size difference, so I'm not sure why she's smaller. If that's a thing we're just gonna be seeing, where you have these like big gods versus other people, not sure. Okay, here is another little troop guy. And again, you saw these on a few others, these like kind of wing antenna things. He has this little dish thing here. It didn't quite assemble perfectly. It just never quite fit nice in there. Again, you can, of course, expect updates and changes. Again, underside looks really, really cool. And I do like how like Bumblebee this is almost, right? It's got like these rings that are going out, which is kind of neat. And 2 powerful legs on the back, obviously, as well. So very interesting. Again, there's a little bit of like a texture here. Again, it's very bee-like, but I like him. Whatever he is. All right, we got this gate thing going on here. This was a ton of pieces. I have no idea what this represents per se, but the pieces were insane. So like for instance, I'll name a few. So like this was a separate piece here. All of these were separate pieces. There were separate pieces here. There were like some little tiny ones as well when it comes especially to the cables and stuff like that. I believe this was separate also. This was all separate. Also, these pieces were put on there. And just a whole lot of little bits and doodads and stuff. This piece right here is separate. You can see that little negative space there that allows. Very, very detailed, very cool. Again, I think this would paint up and look super cool, especially with these big like lightning kind of things going on here. And then you have like this layered technology, organic stuff going on. And yeah, again, I don't know what exactly it's for, but it's pretty cool. So yeah, there's like a little gate thing here. And then the last little guy is Mr. like Rhino Beetle kind of dude. I saved him for us because I really do like him. He stands taller than all the rest. You see how tall he is, right? And he's got like all these, he's always in the back here. He's got these little, almost like little buck teeth, right? These little canisters to think were super fun. And then of course that horn thing kind of curving up like that. And a big wide body. Again, looks very different than like, you know, this guy, for instance, right? I mean, these are very different units. Honestly, all of these guys, I think, stand out quite a bit, which is nice. I like that they're so different, that they have these different units. These are probably the closest because they both have these. But even still, I mean, he has like the bumblebee end going on. He's got these square things. He's got the wings. The other one doesn't. Very cool little troop guys. I actually like these. I think they're adorable, which is kind of weird. But I mean, that's it. That's the minis I got. I did get some gameplay stuff as well that I'll be showing. And then of course I will have the full thing to show you guys here soon too, with all of the miniatures, and it's going to take hours and hours to build. I imagine, because I'm a slow builder anyway, and I'm, you know, one of the first, right? And so the instructions and stuff aren't exactly all there, right? But I will do it for you guys for sure. Anyway, that is Celestial. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to see this game reviewed, unboxed fully, shown off to you guys, Kickstarter covered, all that kind of stuff, be sure to subscribe. I'll be doing all that. I've been pumped for this game for years. I'm excited to finally have a piece of it here, and I can't wait to have more. Guys, thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye, guys.